All right, game wrapped up about half an hour ago. Seahawks win 22-14, so we can be happy about the W, but what did we learn? That's the real question here. What did we learn? A little bit. Can't take it too seriously. I think we all understand that. You can't judge the offense when it doesn't have Wilson or Dwayne Brown. Neither played at all tonight. I thought they might play a little bit. They didn't play at all. No Chris Carson and no Tyler Lockett. So you can't judge any one piece on the offense without keeping in mind the context. Excuse me. Um, can't really judge the defense when there's no Bobby Wagner and no KJ Wright and no Bradley McDougald. Maybe three of our 4 or 5 best players. So on defense, I mean. So, keeping everything in context, we learned a little bit. Number one, it seems like we have a clear number one in the backup quarterback race. Paxton Lynch was probably the MVP of the game, and I certainly didn't expect anything from him. And I'm not saying this means much. It doesn't really mean much at all, but it has to be said, he looked sharp out there. 11 of 15, made some plays down the field, was generally accurate, did not get sacked once, used his legs on a few occasions. Um, there's not anything bad you can really say about Paxton Lynch's game tonight. And compared to Geno Smith, who missed DK Metcalf on a deep ball that could have broken the game open in the first half, and almost threw a pick six on a screen pass, and took a few sacks that ended up damaging a couple of promising drives. It's fair to say that Paxton Lynch seems to have taken the lead in the backup quarterback race. Not that we want that to mean anything, but that's lesson number one tonight. I think that's the thing that's going to stick out the most. But let's talk about what I was really watching this game for. So, number one, the pass catchers. Unfortunately, it's really hard to judge anything because we didn't have our quarterback, and right away you can see the impact of that. I mean, DK Metcalf had a 50-yard play down the field. He got open. He beat his man, even though his man was playing 10 yards off of him, which was sick. And Geno just missed. He missed by a little bit. Was, not egregious, but it was a bad throw. And that Russell Wilson would probably have given Metcalf a chance at that ball. So, he missed out on an opportunity for a big play there. There were a couple of plays that got called back on penalty, much of it against, backup and reserve offensive linemen. We had a lot of holding calls in this game against offensive linemen who probably won't be playing. So it's tough to really make snap judgments about these receivers right now, but off the top of my head, I liked what I saw from DK's talent. The production, not really there. He had one catch called back on a block in the back. He dropped one 40-yard pass that he really could have had. Geno missed him on one of his deep routes where he got open and had a chance at a big play, and Smith led him by a step. But you see the talent, but you can also see, the bad routes. He had one play where he ran a little comebacker to convert a third down, and it wasn't a very clean route, and he didn't really get open. So you can see exactly what people are talking about. This dude is a freak, but he's got a lot to learn. So the guys who did actually make a splash in this game were Jazz Ferguson. There's a name that I was completely writing off, but he was the best receiver out there. He made several big plays. He caught a touchdown. And, watching him play, you can see where he does have some NFL level talent, and he's now officially a guy to watch. But even though this guy only made one catch, he got screwed out of a second catch, in my opinion. The guy whose skill set really caught my attention was John Usura. John Usa. It's one of those, I'm sure, but I don't know which one. But John Ursa, let's just go with that, had one nice catch on a third down, converted, I think, a third and long. Had another catch where they ruled it incomplete, even though I think it was a complete pass. So I'll give him a little bit of credit for that, even though it ended up not counting. So he's a small but quick wide receiver. You can immediately look at him and say, I could see where this dude could be a dangerous threat out of the slot. So the production wasn't really there tonight, but in terms of, me projecting, John Ursa is moving to the top of the list very quickly here. Jennings and Moore barely saw the ball thrown their way tonight, so no judgments there. And there won't really be able to be any judgments until we see them playing with Wilson and the starting offense. So that's my takeaways on offense. Defensively, we were sending some blitzes, which I didn't expect. I thought we were going to play very vanilla defense all night, but we sent pressure and it worked pretty well. Shed got a safety on a cornerback blitz. Mingo and Jacob Martin picked up sacks off the edge, which, that was Jacob Martin is a dude that I kind of forgot to mention in my past couple videos, but if he comes around and has a decent season for us, that's huge because of our needs. And, beyond that, we also saw some good pressures from guys like Marcus Blair had a hit on the quarterback. Amadi had a hit on the quarterback. We got some good pressures out of guys like Quentin Jefferson, and I think Calitro got in there. So in terms of the defensive line and more generally the pass rush, I saw some promising things. You can see where right now, especially, we don't have really anybody on defense who's going to be a one-man quarterback attack crew, but we were able to generate a little pressure tonight, and I kind of liked it. But the thing that I was watching more than anything else was that defensive secondary, those defensive backs, and the number one takeaway from this game has to be, for me, Marquis Blair. That's something that's going to matter this season potentially, because Blair could start from day one. Blair could start a few weeks into the season. And, he led the team in tackles with 6. He had 1 tackle for loss. Like I said, he had a quarterback hit, and he laid the wood on 2 plays in the fourth quarter. One of them he picked up a flag on. I'm not going to hate on the dude for it. It probably was a penalty, but it wasn't dirty. I understand they're going to throw that flag every time. I don't really know what he's supposed to do, but to me, that was an honest football play. I got no problem with him picking up a flag there. That's just the shit that's going to happen when you play defense right now. So I love to see that. That was I can't remember who he hit, but that caught my attention. And he had another play later in the drive on a completed pass that time, but still laid good wood. And he made a couple other good plays out there too. And if Marquis Blair can take the starting spot from Tedrick Thompson, then I think that's a big step in the right direction for this team. Other than that, the cornerbacks, I saw Akeem King make a few nice plays. Amadi almost had a pick 6, I think. We got an interception out of, I think it was Jeremy Boykins. So, it was off a tipped pass, I believe, but hey, good news. I don't think he's going to make the team. Usually when you see a cornerback wearing number 8, you don't really expect him to make the team, but any good news is appreciated. Still not sure which cornerbacks have, taken a step forward to prove, hey, we belong on this roster yet, but Shaquille Griffin and Trey Flowers both made at least a couple good plays out there, I thought, so we like that because we need those guys to be good. If we don't have those guys at the very least, then it's really going to be a mess back there. And what I can say, whatever you want to say about them playing defense, special teams looked way better tonight, and part of that is on your reserve defensive back players. So at the very least, we had that. I'm going to keep an eye on those guys going forward. They certainly didn't play bad. I mean, we didn't give up very many points. I mean, we gave up 3 scoring drives, 2 field goals, and a touchdown. So you can't say they did anything terribly. and you can see some good stuff out there. Jamar Taylor actually maybe is another name I should mention. Jamar Taylor, I think, made a few plays out there, so maybe he's a guy to watch for the dime back spot or the fifth cornerback spot. And that's mainly what I was watching for tonight. So I got some good stuff out there. Not too much negative to say. It was a pretty good game. The offense in the first half was pretty well stalled out, and I think a lot of that was just on the fact that half our offense was out of the game. So all I can do is judge individuals, and the individuals I'm pretty high on. But before I go, I want to mention a couple other guys who really caught my eye tonight. Number one would be Austin Calitro, who was a guy who last year I called you know, the ultimate, replacement level player. I thought he was completely anonymous last year and completely interchangeable with any free agent we could get at any time throughout the season. He played really good tonight, and he made some plays out there that the average linebacker might not. So I don't know if he's going to make the team still because we drafted Ben Burkervin, but Calitro, I thought he played good tonight. So that was a good start. Jason Myers made a 55-yard field goal. Was a little wide on a 56-yarder, so right away you can see how strong his leg is. I like that. And the last name I'll throw out, even though he didn't have big numbers tonight, was Rashad Penny. He's breaking tackles. He's showing his elusiveness. A lot of his struggles tonight, I think, were just on the reserve offensive line that he was trying to play behind. But he caught a screen pass, 30-yard screen pass, so that was pretty. That set up our initial field goal. And even though the numbers aren't there yet, I feel like they will be if he can get a little bit of help up front. So mostly pretty happy with what I saw out there. Still waiting for a cornerback or two to prove themselves, but we'll get to that in game number 2. So see you guys later. Go Hawks. Nice to get the W, and nice to learn a few good things as well. Peace.